Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Village Board of Washingtonville. Today, Tuesday, May 19th. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of Dennis Curran, William Rosario, Kathleen McBride, and Michael Stevens. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moment of silence was in memory of, like I said, and William Rosario, Kathleen McBride, and Michael Rocky Stevens. All four of the individuals have given so much to the village through the years. We lost all of them within a 3-week period. So our thoughts and prayers go out to their families. A couple of announcements. Okay, Events Committee has announced they are canceling all events until July. They will be hosting farm market events during the months of July to August. All farm markets now will be held at Vern Allen Park. High school graduation will be held on Saturday, June 27th. It will be a virtual graduation and a parade. We continue to be in constant contact with school officials. We will be also asked to vote for the school budget once we receive the ballots through mail. So keep your, I will post when I'm told they have been mailed out. In my last posting, I stated phase 1 to reopen New York State will be on May 25th, because that's the date we were told. During yesterday's conference, there is a possibility of starting phase 1 this coming Friday, May 22nd. Please look for other announcements regarding dates for the phasing rollouts on our village Facebook page, as well as our website. Our bathrooms at Vern Allen Park and as well as Woodfield will remain closed until that time we can open them by the county officials. All playground, including skate parks and softball field, will remain closed until that same time. I've asked the question yesterday about opening of phase 4, which includes recreation. If Little League and other organized sports were included, and their answer was yes. So let's keep doing what we have been doing, social distancing, wearing a mask, etc. Now we know, we also know that this could change in either direction. We will post when we hear of any changing of the phase openings. Our wastewater plant is due for final completion by the end of June. As of now, we are approximately $750,000 under budget. The Memorial Park is being decorated for Monday, May 25th. I want to thank all the volunteers for their time and energy in making this a reality. The village has postponed the annual fireworks display. As of no new date has been set. And we all know Monday, May 25th is Memorial Day. This is the day we mourn those who have died for the United States, to remind ourselves of worthy ideas, virtues, and priorities. May their sacrifice be a constant reminder of things that matter. Our national remembrance is 3 p.m. We ask that you please pause for 1 minute to remember and reflect on the sacrifices made by so many to provide freedom to all of us. Okay, as we move to the agenda, new business, dog park paperwork, Trustee Lodato. You want to add to that?
The dog park forms are now available online. As I mentioned at the last meeting, you will get a dog tag once you fill out the forms. I just want to make it clear that Anybody who wants to use the park needs to fill out these forms because we need proof of vaccinations and make sure your dog is up to date on everything, just for the safety of the people going to the park, for the dogs and the people. So whether you're a village resident or not a village resident, you do need to fill out those forms in order to obtain a dog tag for the dog's collar. But the forms are available on the website. Then when you fill out the form, hand it in, you get a tag, you're free to use the park. The park's open, and I'm so grateful to DPW. They did an amazing job. It looks gorgeous. They really did a nice job.
I agree.
On
Any,
those forms,
anything
Mr.
to the
One
village?
question. I have a quick question there. Are those forms, should they be mailed in at this point or submitted online with everything going on with the village hall not being open all the time? How are we doing that?
I was talking with the webmaster today, that they could either be emailed or they could be dropped off at the village hall in the mailbox outside the doors.
Okay,
And I'm hoping that maybe this time next week, when professional services, actually June 6th, if we fall into professional services, maybe we can open up the village hall at that point. I don't know.
well, we fall under government services and there are methods in which, can have limited openings at Village Hall by appointment if someone wants to come in to handle some business, just to limit the number of people in the building at any given time. And also call, and when we get to that stage, when it's deemed appropriate, have people call and make an appointment, and they can come in and at a specific time to either drop off the paperwork or pick up the permits and so on.
The tags, okay. Anyone else? That was Will Frank, our village attorney. Sorry, Will. Anyone else? Questions, comments on that? Okay. 4B, sign up genius for Jax, the police department canine. Trustee Sampson.
Yes, good evening, everyone. For those of you who are unaware, our police department has Jax, a 15-month-old German Shepherd who joined us in Washingtonville, the police department, on March 4th. You can actually follow him on Instagram, as he does have a page, WPD_K9 Jax, JAX. So just to give you an update that I got from Officer Mendez, his handler, he went to the academy on May 4th. He returned because it was temporarily suspended with everything going on with COVID-19. He's currently working on agility training. He's doing very well. Article finds, early stages of tracking, beginning of detection and criminal appreciation. Several residents have made inquiries about items that they wish to donate or purchase for our canine officer. So in working with Officer Mendez, Chief Sicaro, Trustee Lodato, we've compiled a list of items that will be needed for Jax and created a sign-up genius that we would like to launch so the residents who are interested in making a donation can easily find what's actually needed. So they have a list of what would be helpful during the training and beyond. So that's our update on Jax. So I'd like to propose a motion, Mr. Mayor.
I have a motion to open up or to sign up Genius.
Yes, I move that we launch.
We first need to open up a bank account at our bank TD
Bank.
TD Bank. So do we have a Trustee Luis is making a motion?
Yes, I move that we open an account for Jax and share the sign-up link for the sign-up genius on the village website for Officer Jax.
I'll second.
And that account will be a separate segregated account for no other purpose.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Seconded by Trustee Lang.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Kalora,
Yes.
Trustee Lodato,
Yes.
Trustee Sampson,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lang.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Did
Okay.
you vote, Mr. Mayor, did you vote?
Yes, so 5-0.
And the signatories on the account?
Signatories on the account, like every other account, would be Deputy Mayor Lang and myself.
Okay, make that part of the motion, please.
I move that. Do you need me to physically state it?
Well, just if the board is in consensus, the motion will be amended to reflect that the mayor and the deputy mayor will be the sole signatories on the account.
On the accounts.
Okay. Trustee Goulart,
Yes.
trustee Lodato,
Yes.
trustee Sampson,
Yes.
deputy mayor Lang,
Yes.
Mayor Bucko. Yes. So, moved. Okay. We will now go to the questions from the public that we asked for in preparation of this meeting. I received questions from 3 residents regarding, well, a couple of things regard the Little League banners, but others regard other matters within the village. Now, we asked that the audience members are going to be muted until public comments section of the agenda. You will be given time to address the board, clicking the icon for participants at the bottom of your screen. A new window will appear on the right side of your screen. Click on the icon for raised hand on the bottom left of the participants column. You will receive a pop-up asking if you would like to be unmuted. Click yes to confirm you would like to be unmuted. You will have 3 minutes to ask a question or make a comment. Okay, so like I said, I received questions from 3 residents, and I will answer them as they have come in. Why are you making it impossible to hang Little League banners? The paperwork, the paperwork that's needed for Orange and Rockland still has not been completed. And I'm looking at John Terry, our building and code official, who will answer some of the questions later on. Why did you choose to write your response on Facebook instead of spending that time more wisely and helping Little League to fill out the 13-page application? Not really sure to answer this question. They already filled out a permit in Blooming Grove. Why would they need our help here in the village? Part 2 to that would be, Facebook was the venue that this board was attacked on. Our response was posted on the village Facebook page. Applicants need always to fill out their own permit. Why was your reply filled with incorrect statements? We as the board do not believe the response had any incorrect statements. In the midst of the pandemic, there's another question. Why did you choose mayor of this village to make this issue become fodder on Facebook? This has nothing to do with the pandemic. It's an issue of improper paperwork for permits being issued here in the village. We as a village are working very hard regarding the proper zoning and being sure that it's adhered to. To say in the midst of the pandemic we should ignore our codes, it's just not fair to us here in the village. Questions from resident Valerie Prundy. The first group of questions, the person asking the questions wished that her name not be mentioned. Why with the water sewer bills, all these bills were submitted, but many had different usage for the basic rate charged, as many did not estimate for the 7,000 units, which in fact is the maximum, but instead put it well below the number. I will have Deputy Mayor Lang answer that question.
Well, when we estimate the water bills, we don't estimate at a standard fixed rate. This water bill readings was supposed to start on April 1st, and the readings usually go about 2 weeks. And given the circumstances at the time on April 1st, they had actually started the readings, and I strongly urged the mayor that we do a village-wide estimated read, and he agreed, and that's what we did, just to prevent our employees from going out and maybe being infected or infecting someone else, or just for the safety of the employees and residents. So the estimates work, we did it at 75%, and we take the last 6 months, and this is done by UB Max, by the computer program. They take the last 6 months, the average of the last 6 months, and then they do times 75%, and that's your reading. I did a number of just random, actually, random and not so random. I checked every trustee and the mayor on the board to see how their bills reflected it. And on my bill, because I won't talk about any other resident's bill online here, but for instance, on my bill, I was estimated at 4,000 gallons,
That's the next question.
which is well below the 7,000. But if I look back on my bills, on my billing, if I go back to April of 18, I used 6,000 gallons. So it's really not that far off. If I go back to April of 18, I used 4,000, which is lower. April of 19 would be 6,000. So it's all ballpark, and that's why it's called an estimated read. So everybody's not going to be estimated at a flat 7,000. It's based on the average of your last 6 months usage times 75%. And I've looked at a number of bills, and quite honestly, it's pretty close. April's our low usage quarter because it's from over the winter in January, February, March. So they worked out. It's an estimated bill, and it was done for a good reason.
Okay, Carrie, continuing on with questions from Valerie Prunty, and this will be directed towards John Terry, our building inspector. Question is, I have been informed, hopefully incorrectly, that the variance request we met on regarding the storage building at Moffett Library has been ignored as you were at the meeting regarding this variance. You know firsthand the outcome and why it could not be a meeting hall. Has the board or building inspector allowed for this decision to be ignored? Are there many other decisions that were bypassed or ignored? If so, why? So I'm just going to turn the computer so you could see John Terry, our building and code enforcer.
Am I there?
Yep, you're there.
Hi, good evening, everybody. On February 21st, we had a meeting here. Carol McRalston was in attendance, as well as others, because the request had been made to take what had been a storage building, or created to be a storage building well before I got here, and turn it into a meeting hall. At the end of the meeting, I went over there and looked at the building, did an interior inspection, and I came up with about 12 items: handicapped accessibility, fire consideration, smoke CO detectors, possibly flammable insulation that remained uncovered. About 12 items that I just read that gave to everybody by way of email when I returned. And I haven't heard a single thing from them since that time. I think Carol had mentioned that she was going to, as well as others, give it to the engineer, architect or engineer, have it addressed and get back to me. And then since February 21st, I haven't heard a thing. And that's basically what we're looking at right now. Some of the issues were handicapped accessibility, smoke and CO detectors, a staircase that went up to the second floor that had a furnace right underneath it that wasn't fire protected, fire blocking concerns. There was no bathroom in there yet. Disembarking of the occupants, people coming out of the building would be basically walking on a sidewalk not too far from oncoming traffic that could be moving rather quickly in the parking area. So basically, there were a lot of issues here, again, that nobody ever responded to. And that's what I'm still waiting for today. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, John. Okay, question number 3 from Valerie Prendy. Now to the current issue. Why did this happen with the banners, as there is no construction being allowed during this state of emergency? This could have been expedited quickly. The permit apparently was for O&R, valid they had one for the town. To say it was not timely is ridiculous. Yes, my answer, yes, to my understanding, there was one given to the town. To date, I have not seen the formal permit. My conversation today with Ken Sullivan of Orange and Rockland, that we will receive a formal letter with an actual permit on it. That still has not been delivered to me. I had asked Rob Roman, town supervisor, for that. Moving on, perhaps you're not requiring one from the previous year set a precedent, or was at the very least responsible for the delay on Little League's part. That's a valid point. Our building inspector never required the applicant to fill out permits. In this whole episode, we also realized that we were never given permits for the Christmas decorations that hang every year in the village. So what you're asking, Valerie, because we never had a permit filled out with Orange and Rockland before, we should continue that practice. Now, I know that's not what you're asking, but that's really what is asked in this question. All right, another question, making them removed was a slap in the face and morally wrong. Again, that's a valid question. However, we never asked for these banners to be removed, never. They were removed on their own from the town. We never, ever asked them to be removed. We just can't wait for paperwork submitted so we can, I'm just waiting for the paperwork so I could forward it to Orange and Rockland and have it go through their process. I believe their process is a 30-day process. I'm really not sure, but that's what it says on the application. Another question, I've also been told that a request for money was involved, but that would border on extortion, which I'm going to assume is a misunderstanding. If it wasn't, it is possibly a criminal offense, as well as opening up the village to a lawsuit. A total misunderstanding on your part, unless you were really told this. Extortion, not really sure where this came from. So I will have our attorney, Will Frank, you might want to answer that question, Will.
Well, I mean, I'm not really quite understanding where this question is coming from. There is the money involved here is the permit application fee, and really nothing else to the best of my knowledge. So I don't know where the criminal offense or extortion argument comes from. And in fact, I don't even know if there was a request to waive the application fee. That I don't know. If that came in, I wouldn't see it, and it'd probably be something the board would at least discuss. But as far as extortion or criminal offenses, there's no other money involved here. If there's a suggestion otherwise, I don't really know what it is.
Okay. The last question, lastly, what volunteer boards still exist and which have been disbanded by this board? I'm assuming by the village board. No boards were disbanded by this village board. I know that the planning board resigned by themselves. One of the reasons we asked for them to have a work session prior to the regular meeting, so the applicants would know what's required to move forward with the permit. I have sat on plenty of planning boards in here throughout my term here, and sometimes the first look at the plans is that first night, okay? And the applicant has their attorneys, their lawyers, their architects or engineers, sometimes the construction companies. It's just really wasting everyone's time. So I had asked for a work session by the board, another night out of the house. I understand that, okay? And with that, slowly but surely, I got letters of resignation. So right now we are in the process of taking names for new members to the planning board, because we do have a lot of applicants that need to appear in front of the planning board. It was my understanding that the village board could act as the planning board until Will Frank said absolutely not. And he cited a law, New York State law, that we are not permitted to be the planning board. However, we will remain as the architectural review board. And we always knew that we can never be the zoning board. So we never dissolved anything here in the village. In closing, I'd like to say, this is closing from Valerie Prundi. In closing, I would like to say, as the next day quarterback, keeping our credentials inspector would have saved a lot of these issues from occurring between the one hired and the one that did not have certifications. And now to the new man, it seems we were penny wise and a dollar foolish, with headaches to boot, as well as possible lawsuits. Not really sure where the misunderstanding came in. Who claimed our building inspector after Jeannie was not qualified? Certainly wasn't the New York State Code Office, because I've had several conversations with them. While on the subject of lawsuits, how many COs were issued during the time of 219 to when the present building inspector were issued and have to be diligently re-inspected, as only a licensed building inspector can sign off on a CO? These are just a few things that would allow for the lawsuit holding our village liable. Exactly, Valerie. A CO can only be given when the building permits have all been executed and inspections all have been completed. We are in the midst of dealing, I'm told, with over 300 open permits dating back years. Each one has to be closed out, or it appears on a municipal search when the owner goes to sell. I'm sure you're not aware of this little detail, okay? It was mentioned at a meeting, but we have over 300 permits dating back years. Questions from Stephanie Secor. Why does the village board deem the recognition banners as advertising, whereas in 2018 or 19, they were not? Orange and Rockland stated they are not advertising, they are sponsorships. My last conversation with O&R was today, and they're working on the language of this whole process, okay? You might be correct that is not advertising, okay? But that's up for Orange and Rockland to tell us it's not advertising, okay? It's not up to tell Little League until we get the answer from Orange and Rockland. The second question, why did the village board lodge an official complaint with Orange and Rockland towards the Washingtonville Little League? Okay. The village never filed a complaint with O&R. The question was asked via email. You're being told things that just are not true. Whatever you might think, this village board is not against Little League. We support Little League. That being said, we just cannot take public money and pay for the entire utility bill, which first came up regarding Woodfield. And that came up through refrigeration costs. We cannot allow the league to use the garage in that multi-use building, because it eventually is going to be a well housing. That's public water supply. Nothing could be in there but the village. We pay for the dumpsters that are presently at Woodfield. Okay, of course, the village, because those are your garbage cans. Those are Little League garbage cans. We provide garbage cans in other parks throughout the village. We mow the grass at Woodfield. We replaced the yellow ribbon around the entire area. The ribbon was decayed. Okay, it was broken. It was dangerous to the people playing on that field. I look at it where we saved Little League a lot of money. Okay, it's a village park being used by Little League. There's no cost to this, and there should never be a cost for Little League to be playing on our field. Okay, but this was brought to my attention. Why is the village board charging Little League to play softball on that field? So again, that's not true. Okay, we did nothing to ask Little League to pay to play on that field. And the last question, as acting building inspector for 2019, there was no mention of any violations or sight of any codes that the banners were violating. What changed in 2020? Please explain in detail. Here's the detail. There is nothing to explain. I was never the acting building inspector. So that being said, I see a lot of people raising their hands. Okay. We ask that you state your name. You'll be given 3 minutes to ask a question or comment, and then we will respond. Please direct your questions to anyone here on the board or to our village attorney. Anybody have any questions on what we just went over right now before we open it up to the floor? And Larissa will be the
Timer?
in unmuting and so forth.
Okay. I did have Stephanie Secor.
Yep, I saw that she raised her hand. Yes.
I'm looking for her right now. Okay. All right, Stephanie, I just sent you a note to unmute.
Hey.
Hi, okay.
Okay. So my question is in regards to taking the banners down. I do understand that the village did not, in fact, ask us to take the banners down. However, the town did take the banners down because we did receive an email from Orange and Rockland that we did, in fact, have a complaint lodged from Mayor Bucko and Paul Lang saying that we were advertising and we were not sponsoring. So can we explain that in regards to, of course, we are not, as a Little League, we're not going to allow our banners to be present in the village if we are having a lodged complaint against us by our own mayor and Paul Lang, who in fact has already said that our Little League banners look like shit. Very professional, by the way. So my question is, were we supposed to keep them up?
Can I ask you to repeat where you got the information about the complaint being lodged with the Orange and Rockland? This is
Yes, we
Paul
were in
Lang.
fact notified from Orange and Rockland that there was a complaint lodged against Little League, that we were in fact.
Okay,
taking
did Orange and
advertisements
Rockland give you my name, Paul Lang, and Joseph Bucco as lodging a complaint?
They in fact stated that it was from the village board, yes. So if there was somebody else in the village board that did it, then.
Okay. If they didn't give you, okay, if they didn't give you my name as lodging a complaint, I don't know how you can make a statement like that, number one, that I or the mayor lodged a complaint. You're
Okay,
taking,
so then it was your other board members you're saying, Paul?
all right. I don't know who you talked to. Who did you speak to at Orange
It
and
doesn't
Rockland?
matter. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. You guys lodged a complaint. That's all that matters. So if it wasn't you and Mayor
Okay.
Bucko, it was somebody else.
So
Against
listen,
your
okay,
Washingtonville Little
all right, very good. No, if you feel like that, that's fine. I just, I'd like to say that it's blatantly false. I never lodged a complaint with Orange and Rockland.
Mhm.
As far as the other thing that you mentioned about me, the person that I spoke to, regarding what the banners look like, that is a partial quote. Yes, I did say what you said, but it continued by saying the way they were hung last year. So if
So
you
that makes
add,
it appropriate. You're a trustee of our village. That makes it appropriate to say about a Washingtonville Little League, the time
Well,
spent, the
I'm-
sponsorship that
no,
we gather, that makes that appropriate?
listen, Stephanie, listen to me. I'm just saying the way they were hung last year. They were not uniform. The first year they looked great. Last year they weren't uniform, and they did look like that. They looked terrible. I'll say it again. They looked terrible last year, the way they were hung. That's what I refer to. And that woman, and I'll speak to her and I'll tell her I'll never speak to her on the phone again. Everything will be in writing. But I continued to say, and she didn't continue to quote, I said that the way they were hung, they looked like that. So
Okay.
going on.
If I could continue, Stephanie, I emailed Ken Sullivan. I've tried calling, and I'll read the email. I tried calling your office and cell cell phone several times. I just have a quick question on the pole banners on utility poles before I proceed with the application for the Village of Washingtonville. Does Orange and Rockland's policy allow advertising on their poles? If that's a lodging a complaint, I don't think that falls under that. I think it falls under a question. Okay, and like I said, today was, the last time I spoke to Ken Sullivan was about maybe 2:30 this afternoon. And that's when he informed me that Orange and Rockland is redoing their policy for banners being hung on poles. Okay, he also stated that one of the requirements that they have is that the banner is 10 feet away from the pole lines. Okay, I don't know that. I didn't go out there with a tape measure, nor do I have any plans to. Okay, but to answer the questions that have been asked several times, we never asked for the banners to be removed.
We're not going to keep them hung.
Hold on. I received a phone call one morning from Wayne Kirkpatrick saying, I'm going to remove the hardware.
Of course.
It's in my post. Going to remove the hardware because we need the hardware elsewhere. And I said, okay, well, let's understand each other. I am not asking you to remove anything. And his response to me was, I know. So there you have it. There's no reason why the 5 of us on this board, okay, is lying to anyone. We're in favor of putting the banners up. No one here is in defiance of that, okay? But it has to be done correctly. And to
Stephanie, we're way past 3 minutes. I would say give Stephanie another minute to wrap it up
okay,
because we were talking.
I think we didn't start the clock till like.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the clock was going.
Yeah, but we started it very late. Larissa knows.
And she has another, I'll give her another minute to wrap it up because Joe and I were talking.
Rules
Okay.
again.
All right, you want to do the clock? Only because I'm admitting people as well. So I'm doing 2 or 3 things at once.
how about we just do it on a phone so we can continue to see people? Is that easier?
That works.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I got it here.
Okay, Paul, that was you? Okay.
Yeah, good.
All right, Stephanie, okay, she's still, you're not muted, so go ahead, Stephanie.
Hand is still raised.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on in regards to the permit, you had stated, Joe, that Little League, you still don't have the information that you need for the permit. Now, let me be very clear. I showed up at that village hall
Mhm.
and I stood there and I spoke with John Terry. And John
Right.
Terry specifically said to me, he does not know how to fill out that application. I went home. I read it from front to back three times. Did not see anything on that building permit in regards to hanging banners on Orange and Rockland poles. I called him, which yes, Orange and Rockland poles in our municipality, understood. I called John Terry and I asked him in regards to this. And his response to me was that he doesn't even know where to go with this and he had to speak to you and he would be back in touch with me on Monday, which he wasn't. So how are we supposed to fill out a permit that is unknown to us for the first time in 3 years? And we're still getting pushback from you guys as a village board saying, we still don't have a
Okay,
permit.
Stephanie, thank you for your comments.
Yeah,
And
Paul.
excuse me, in response to your comment, you can contact the president of your league, Mr. Davey, Scott Davey, and John Terry and Scott Davey have been emailing back and forth. John Terry knows all about it. I thank you for your comment, and we'll have the next hand. Who has the next hand up?
Wait, Paul, John Terry would like to answer some of that.
All right. Okay, the reason I said that is because I'd never actually done anything like with the Little League, but Scott and I have been talking. Scott, when he did finally give me some paperwork, I asked him for the permit that he said he had, and he submitted to me the application that has to be sent to Orange and Rockland, and was not the permit, that was the application. We have been talking, and there are certain things that he needs to do. So far, all he's really done is return the application to me, partially filled out. He made a mistake. He corrected it yesterday. And he still has things that he has to get together before we can submit the permit application to Orange and Rockland. He has to get permission from the other utilities that share the poles themselves, not just us with the right of way that they have going through the village. There's a lot of information he has to give to me. He has not given that to me as yet. And now that I've seen the application that Orange and Rockland needs to be sent back, completed with all that information that he has to send with it, now I know how to do this properly. But he has to follow through and get that information to me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for your
That's
time.
about it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No, thank you. We haven't had the hands up.
Who's next?
Okay, I'm looking through. I don't see anyone with a hand up. And again, if you're not sure, let me just share this.
Put that red, put it up there.
Yes. So you go down to the bottom of your screen and click on participants. And then a separate pop-up will appear and you'll see a blue hand. So if anyone has a question, raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Okay, let me stop the share so I can see if anybody. Let's see. I don't see any hands raised, y'all. Questions or comments?
We see there's an icon on Valerie Grundy's. I don't know if.
Okay, let me unmute. Okay.
It'll turn, you can't, it'll take away who you are.
Okay, Valerie Prunty.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Joe, because I'm watching my grandson, it was difficult for me to catch the first part, but I did hear a good portion of it. My main question about the previous building permits,
Yes.
with COs,
Mhm.
regarding that, what I wanted to know if anyone or any of them have been signed off on COs during the time where somebody, like the man that didn't have the certification, if any of them were signed, because that would leave us open to a definite lawsuit. I might not even be accepted, but if nobody caught it, because people have been known not to catch things. So I'm wondering if there was any COs that were done then.
Yeah. You know, Val, to be honest with you, I don't believe any COs were given at that time, but more importantly, to say that he wasn't qualified before he was hired.
It wasn't the qualification.
No, well, the state of New York had no problems with his qualifications. Actually, the state of New York would give someone 18 months to complete all
To
of
complete the course.
their classwork before being sworn in full-time as a building inspector. So to say that he didn't have the qualifications, the young man that you're talking about is a firefighter in the city of Newburgh, okay, where part of his qualifications is fire inspector.
Okay.
It's part of their job. Okay. And he needed to complete 2 classes that happened in July and August, I believe. So to say that he wasn't qualified, the state of New York said he was. Okay. Or his name never would have been brought up to the village board.
Okay, he was qualified for fire inspections.
He was qualified by the state of New York to act as a fire inspector / building inspector / code enforcer.
Okay, so there would be no issue if he
Not
signed
at
off
all.
on COs.
Not at
Okay, I
all.
wanted to make sure legally, because I don't need lawsuits.
Look, I appreciate the question. I really do. I think we all do. Okay. But when I said before, we have 300 open permits here in the village. That would be
Okay.
the question that I would have asked. Why do we have 300 permits open?
Yeah, that's a lot of permits.
Sure
open.
is. And we have to go through each and every one of them one by one. Okay? This building department in this village will be top-notch in the state of New York. I promise you that.
Okay, take you for your word.
Thank you.
And that's all I had to ask about. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Names. No other questions?
Do you want me to show the,
Yeah, one more time.
one
Larissa.
more time, just to make sure? Okay. Click on participants, and in the new window on the right side of your screen, you click on the raise hand icon. Okay, let's look.
If I could just add something to the, the idea of sending in questions for the village board to answer, I think is a wonderful idea. I think it's something that we will continue. Okay. I know it's very difficult for members of the community not to come to village board meetings. We do have a work session the first Monday of each month, and the third Tuesday of each month is a regular board meeting. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be on Zoom during the month of June, okay, unless things change rapidly. But I believe asking questions, sending the email in,
Oh,
cannot be here is a wonderful idea. So we are going to continue that.
Glenn has his hand up.
Glenn has his
Glenn.
hand up.
Yes, Glenn Uller. Okay, Glenn, did you see the pop-up to unmute yourself? Glenn, are you there? Okay, there should be a pop-up that says you've been asked to unmute.
He's not muted.
Right,
He just moved.
he just mute, okay, asked to unmute.
There seems,
Yes.
Mr. Aller, you
I-
got to click on the audio. He's got to click on the
Yeah,
audio.
on the bottom left
bottom
hand, bottom left hand side, it says join audio. Bottom left hand part of your screen, Mr. Uller. Bottom left hand part of the screen, it says join audio. Oh, he just closed it off.
Yeah,
It's still, well, how
Oh,
about
and
now?
now he's back. Not mute, not the mute button, but the join audio button.
He's not muted.
No, he's not, but there's
There's
another
something.
button down there.
the other option is to type in what you want to ask in the chat, which is to the right of participants. There's a chat feature.
Yeah, we're not getting his audio.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he's unmuted.
Right. Mr. Aller, if you can hear us, we can see you, but we don't have your audio.
He's raised his hand again. He's got the hand thing down.
Volume.
Okay.
Maybe volume? Is it volume?
Let's see, Mr. Uller. Can you see the chat feature? Okay, you're gonna have to test your audio.
He might not see the chat either if he doesn't click on the,
Right. At the very bottom of your screen, there's a feature that says chat. You can type in.
I have a silly question. Does he have a microphone?
Is it a cell phone?
That's a good point. I would say if he has a camera, he had a microphone on it, so if it was a laptop.
Yeah, his screen does look like it keeps freezing. I see the Valerie Punty.
Anybody have his phone number? We can call him up. What's he holding up? That was his hand.
We can't hear you.
Unfortunately, Mr. Eller, we still can't hear you.
By a show of fingers. Can he show us his phone number by the show of fingers?
Um,
Hold on, hold it up. Hold it up higher so I can see it. Hold
Or,
up.
well, let's not say his phone number back to him.
yeah.
Next number is going to be difficult.
All right, 496. Let's go with 496. Give us the last four.
But don't say it out loud.
Don't say
please,
it out
Paul.
loud, he's saying.
What is that?
I can't see. I can't. He's got it. He's holding it too low. Okay, I got that.
wait.
Whoa, 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 hold on. Let me count here. What do we got here? Is that thumb out there? Shoot, hold on. You know what I'm going to do? Let me see if he has a water bill.
Yeah.
Let me see if he has a water bill.
In the meantime, I will.
Sing a
Sure.
song or something.
No, I'd rather
Oh, you
just
wanna
stay
send
like
people
this.
running.
Yeah, rather just stay muted.
We just had 2 people join, so I wanted to show the instructions in case they wanted to ask a question.
Paul,
They could see
I'll
the
Yeah.
instructions.
number.
Huh?
I'm gonna text you his number.
Okay, good. Well, I'm okay. Get it on my phone. Spell his last name.
Uller. I have it right here. I
You want
looked.
to text? You want to
All
text?
right, let me look. I might get it right on a water bill here. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Someone gonna call him?
I'm calling him now. Hey, Mr. Uller. No problem. How are you? Okay, let's see if you can get on the screen. On your screen, on the left-hand side, on the bottom, there should be a join audio. You're hitting the mute button, but on. You see it now? No?
Yes, we see it.
Was he just on?
Hold on. Yeah, I got him on the phone. I'm gonna find it.
Do you want to put them on speaker and then we can all
All
hear?
right, hold on. Yeah, let me put you on speaker and then we can hear your. All right, you there,
Yeah, boy.
Mr. O? Are you there?
Yeah, boy.
Okay, let me get the volume up. Volume up. All right, give us your question, Miss O. Okay, Joe, did you hear that?
Yeah, we heard that.
Hold on, let me take my earphones out.
You emailed me this morning, Ms. Ola. I didn't think that was a question. I'm sorry. It has to do with one of the houses on in the village. Okay. I'm sorry.
Hold on, just listen,
Yeah.
Joe.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Ola.
The house is an eyesore, okay? It's on Capitol, and it, I don't know what to compare it to. It's very embarrassing. When we have people come to our house, they ask us what is going on with that house.
Nothing.
And yeah, it's obvious. It's also an eyesore, and it's also an accident waiting to happen. Somebody's going to get injured walking by on the sidewalk because the sidewalk is up by the owner. Okay, underneath. I think something should be done about it. when the average neighbor here pays $10,000 in tax, you should be able to enforce some kind of zoning laws here. If you don't have one on the,
Yeah,
put in.
the building
Okay,
inspectors,
to respond, Mr. Aller.
I'm listening.
the building inspectors were given that file today. It's quite large. And so maybe one of them will reach out to you tomorrow. You're in tomorrow. Will, this is something that has been in the village for years. And no one seems to be able to move forward with it. Okay. So I think we're going to need a lot of legal.
Oh my God, is that the mayor?
Okay, I'll speak to John about this and we'll see what needs to be done.
Yes, it is, Mr. Uller. I agree with you 100%. There was a time when I spoke with the resident and I arranged to have a dumpster placed in front of his house from.
Aware of that, sir.
What's that?
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, and that's as far as that went. But you have our word, my word, our word, that this will be taken care of.
Yeah, it needs to be done within this year. I don't want to overpressure anybody, but I mean, if we're going to pay $10,000, we've been here for 20 years already, and nothing's been done about it.
I
know you're right,
I
Joe.
hear everything you're saying, and I agree 100%. Okay, it will be taken care of.
I don't think that's fair to the neighbors that are.
It's certainly not. It's
or any-
certainly not.
Mr. Mayor, I am your biggest fan. Oh my God.
All right.
All right, Mr. Aller, we thank you for the question,
Yes, thank you.
and they will be in touch with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're
I
welcome.
love you,
Thank
Mr. Mayor. I love you.
Yeah, just keep
Someone's
them on.
my fan. Let them talk.
I'm your biggest fan. I've loved you for so many years. Thank you for keeping this town great. Thank you so much.
Where this is coming from.
You
Thank
gotta mute them.
Yeah, I gotta
Right.
find out who it is.
It's this one. that
You will
says
never
free-
find me out. Goodbye.
This free Wi-Fi one. All right, is there anybody else?
There's Anthony.
Anthony. Okay.
All righty.
Hey, guys, can you hear me all right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yes.
Okay, I'll put my camera on. Anyway, this is for something completely different. Laura, who won the HGVA contest for the town makeover?
Well, I'm guessing with the
It's me, the drone guy.
we haven't heard back yet. I guess they're on shutdown, lockdown as well.
All right, well, we know what Mr. Bucko needs to do then. Make a few phone calls, Joe. Drop a couple of
Well-
dimes, and let's get this show on the road.
The last conversation I had with them, we needed to fill out some more releases because they wanted to use the video that was presented to them for their promotion.
Oh, cool. Very good. All right, that's all I had. It's a simple question.
Thank you.
Everybody- I'll mute myself again. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, before you make the motion to adjourn, going back to the library issue for a moment,
Yes.
after that meeting, I do know that the library attorney, Rick Golden, who I work with on a lot of other matters, he was, you may have seen it in the paper, he was affected by the COVID illness himself. He was hospitalized for a while, and he's back and he's working. So I'll reach out to Mr. Golden, and I know John's going to reach out on the engineering side because we haven't had any response, but I'll also reach out to Rick and see if he can move things along a little bit on their end, and maybe we can move forward and see what has to be done.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So
Will.
want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
7:58 PM.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Sampson,
Yes.
trustee Ladato,
Yes.
trustee Kalor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lang,
Yes.
and Mayor Bucko. Yes. Wait, a hand just went up.
Oh, we have a,
Whoa.
okay,
One
We
more.
have a hand up. One more
hand up.
question.
hold on, let me,
Maureen DeVinco.
okay, let me. Okay. Maureen, are you unmuted? Maureen, look at the bottom left of your screen, and if you see a mic icon that says mute, unmute, join.
So tomorrow, you and Susan are here tomorrow.
We have classes at around 10:30 to about 1, I
Okay.
think. After that, I have one appointment at 8,
Okay,
I think.
Okay.
It shouldn't take long.
Okay.
I don't see a mic icon for Maureen. Hold on. Maureen, let's see.
I have a comment for Mr. Uller. A question rather. Is it okay if John Terry gave you a call, if not tomorrow, Thursday? Uller, U-L-L-E-R.
I'll call him up. Call him
Okay.
up.
Hold on, I don't see an icon for a microphone like everyone else. You see there's an icon
Yep.
for a mic and an icon for the camera. Let me send her a note in the chat. 1 second.
You want me to call Mr. Uller up while we're here?
Yeah, and just ask him if it's okay, is there a specific time that John could give him a call? John or Susan?
I thought he was gonna-
Probably Thursday, right?
Probably Thursday, because there's some, tomorrow his calendar is quite full. Paul will give you his number, so we don't want to just,
I got it.
I'm calling Maureen DeVinco.
okay.
I don't know why, I've never seen it where there's no mic.
The same thing with Mr. Uller.
Right. Maureen DeVinco, I'm calling you on my cell. Hello? Hi, we don't have, there's no mic. Did you join the,
Mr. Uller, it's Paul Lang again.
you can't hear anything? Okay, then you have to test your audio. Do you want?
Tomorrow or Thursday.
Okay. Hold on, let me talk you through it. All right, let's see. Do you see on the bottom left of your screen?
All right.
All the way down, there's like an unmute and then a video button, start video. Wait, hit the unmute. Is it on your phone or on your computer? Okay, so hit those buttons, and if you don't get on, call me back.
I'm on the phone.
You're welcome.
Okay,
All right.
so have Dot
All right, she's getting
McNally,
on now.
Dot McNally raised her
Oh,
hand.
Dot McNally. Okay.
He's actually in Virginia now, from what I hear.
Okay, Dot McNally.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, everyone. I just have a quick question, quick clarification. I talked to the mayor the other day about this. I live behind the village hall here, and I know there's gonna be some changes to the upstairs. I'm just wondering, is there gonna be like a public hearing? Because I know some of the neighbors are concerned kind of about the privacy. It's been a long-standing issue.
I agree with you in that respect, but he was a PE.
Joe, tell Paul to mute his, mute himself.
You
because
want
no
to
one
get
can hear
to
him.
Paul to mute himself? Because he's very loud. Dot, yeah,
Hey.
the windows, her concern, and stop me if I'm wrong, Dot, your concern is people looking outside the windows onto their property. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it, the 3 windows directly behind the building. If those are the windows that you're referring to, that's a 2-story space. There's no floor in that area, and there's not going to be a floor in that area.
Okay, that would
But
direct.
I don't know, but they might not be the same windows that you. But whatever we have to do to protect people's privacy, we are certainly going to do. And there will always be a meeting on major projects like this. The project is moving the police department into the village hall.
Right.
So renovation would have to be done here in the village hall to accept the police, because the building that they're in right now is really too small for them, and it's really outdated. And it just costs the village a lot of money to heat and cool that building, and every now and then, something else goes wrong. So that's our plan, but yes, that there will certainly be meetings on that.
Oh, okay, great. All right. Yeah, that was just my concern. And it is those back windows for me personally. I know other people live on the side there.
Yeah.
But, just
No,
for the
but
front.
that was where I'm assuming the racquetball court was.
Oh, at the top. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't remember being up there. So I don't know. It's just when it was built, I know it was only zoned for storage.
It was only supposed to be a one-story building.
Correct. Boy, do I know that. Yes.
Yeah, I guess the elevator pit, they thought was a whirlpool.
Okay. Okay. So we'll
Other
be
than
hearing-
that, you know, I know you mentioned racquetball because when you see me, that's the first word that comes to you, that he's a racquetball player.
No.
Okay, thank you, Dot.
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Maureen had a hand up. I see a microphone there right now.
No, I'm good, Joe, right now. I hit that by mistake.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adjourn that was voted on.
Okay, Paul Lang made a motion to adjourn at 7:58. We need to amend that to 8:07. I have a second.
Second.
Wait,
Rich Kalor seconded. Roll call, trustee Sampson? Trustee Sampson?
Sorry, I muted myself. My dog went crazy. Yes.
Okay. Trustee Lodato?
Yes.
Trustee Kalor? Deputy
Yes.
Mayor Lang?
Yes.
And Mayor Bucko, yes. Thank you, everyone. Please enjoy your holiday weekend. Please remember 3 p.m. on Monday. Please pause for a moment of silence. Thank you so much.